In today's Focus on Family, a new book tells the gripping story of a man who lost his wife to breast cancer in the hopes that his journey can help other husbands struggling with how to help and support the women in their lives with the disease. Ken Churilla is the author of the book. He joins us now. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
I think, especially when we talk about breast cancer, you think of the pink ribbons and you think of all the women coming together to support one another. But really, the men in their lives don't have that kind of support, and often men don't ask for it.
Well, and that's the thing, you know, guys don't want to talk. They don't want to talk to their buddies about things. They just, they might bring something out a little bit, but nothing to really help themselves. And in that situation, the focus does go to the woman, and rightfully so. And if there are kids involved, it goes to them as well. The guy is just left there, and he's supposed to know what to do. And so many things are coming from so many different directions. It's like standing in the middle of a hurricane.
Now, this really touched your life. This book is inspired by the story of a dear friend of yours who lost his wife to breast cancer.
It is. It is inspired by a true story. So I got to see what he went through and how he handled things, from his. And that's how this book is told. It's told through his eyes.
Right. And the idea, I think, is that especially the husbands end up being a caregiver, but in that vein, don't get to really think about themselves. But it is natural to need to take care of yourself as well, and you explore some of those things.
Yeah, there are things that you need to do to help yourself. You know, in any situation, you need to be able to stand on your own 2 feet before you can help somebody else. And there are some things that, you'll see in the book that he does right, and there's some things that he does wrong. But at the same time, that's kind of the point of this whole book is, it gives guys some foresight maybe to what might be coming down the road. And again, since they don't talk, it gives them something to bounce an idea off in their head, to at least have some kind of a guideline. Maybe he did this right, maybe he did this wrong.
Well, there's no rule book with cancer, right? So everybody makes mistakes, and I think it's so great to see someone else sort of making the mistakes and you say, it's okay, I don't have to be perfect. And in one part of the book that really gripped me, you said he was talking about being lonely in bed, and at that same time said, what a selfish thought. Here I am thinking about myself being lonely, but those are natural emotions, and I think that other men reading this book will feel like, I'm not alone here.
Yeah, the thing is, too, when I wrote this book, I wrote it, in a sense, to help guys. And surprisingly, I've heard from a lot of different men that have read this, one in particular, whose wife actually is going through it right now. And he's correlated some of the things in here that he's going through, and they're not the same, but they work together so that it's made him make alterations in the way he's attacking things. But also from women who have been survivors that give them a much better insight as to what their spouse or their boyfriend or their kids were going through that they didn't really realize at the time.
Well, you do. Everyone looks at you differently as a cancer patient instead of being a spouse again. And so there are things, I think, that the women and the men can experience and learn from this book. It is so well written. It is just such a gripping story and a raw story, but I think in the end so helpful to other people. Thank you so much for coming in, Ken, and thanks for writing it. No One Said It Would Be Easy is on store shelves now, and there's a book signing January 11th at 4 o'clock. That's at Barbara's Bookstore on Village Center Drive in Burr Ridge. We'll be right back.